Welcome dear students. This video lecture is about the gear manufacturing and finishing operations. So the contents of the presentation are we are going to see the basics of gears and how the gears are classified and what are all the various manufacturing methods are followed in the workshops to manufacture the gears, and in addition to manufacturing, at the end, what are all the various finishing operations carried out on the gears in order to have the perfect surface properties. Let's start. So first of all, why gears are manufactured? Gears are nothing but the toothed machine elements, and they are used to transfer the rotation from one shaft to another shaft. The two shafts may be parallel to each other or perpendicular to each other or inclined to each other, whatever it may be, and particularly the direction and speed of rotation are considered as the main parameters in the rotation transmission through the gears. We can transfer the rotation from one shaft to another shaft with or without changing the direction of rotation and with or without changing the speed of rotation. And the gears are applied in any numerous number of machineries, particularly in the automobile gearboxes and feed gearboxes, not only in the gearbox of the automobiles, wherever in the rotating machineries, if you are in need of transmitting rotation from one shaft to another, the gears are preferred. However, the rotation transmission from one shaft to another shaft is carried with the help of belt and pulley drives and chain drives. The gear transmission plays a major role since there is a slip and loss are very less. So the metal processing machines are also using the gears as a main machine element. And if you suppose to classify the gears, we need to consider three important parameters for the classification. According to the configuration, according to the axis of transmission, and according to the pattern of motion, we can classify the gears into many types. One by one we can see. First of all, according to the configuration, we can classify the gears into internal gears and external gears. So the picture is shown here. So this is nothing but externally measured gears. Externally measured gears. The outer periphery of the gear blank is manufactured with teeth, and it can be measured with another outside toothed gear blank with teeth. So this kind of meshing is nothing but external gears, and internal gear is nothing but the internal periphery of the hollow plate is called as the internal gear. It can be measured with another gear. So this is nothing but the manner of configuration. It is external configuration, it's internal configuration. And according to the transmission, we can split the gear first as a spur gears. The spur gear also having similar categories. Generally, the spur gears are the gear categories which are all used to transmit power between two parallel shafts. And these are all the various types in the spur gears. Straight toothed spur gear. See, the gear teeth are straight. They are parallel to the axis of the rotation of gear. And here you can see helical toothed spur gears. That is, the tooth of the gear is not parallel to its axis of rotation. It's having some inclination. That inclination is termed as helical angle or helix angle. And in helical gear type itself, we can have two different categories. It is single helical and that one is double helical. And according to the transmission, again we are having one more type in the gear as bevel gears. Bevel gears are generally used to transmit power between two perpendicular shafts. Here you can see one shaft's axis of rotation is vertical, another shaft's axis of rotation is horizontal. Between these two shafts, if you want to transmit the rotation, you may go for the using bevel gears. So in the bevel gear itself, we can see straight toothed bevel gear and spiral toothed and hypoid gears. So these are all the various kind of bevel gears used to transmit rotation between the two perpendicular shafts. And according to the transmission, we may have three more types. See here, the gears between non-parallel and non-intersecting shafts. The number one is worm and a worm wheel. See, this is a worm wheel and it is a worm. These two shafts are non-parallel shafts and non-crossing shafts also. Their axes won't intersect with each other. They are independent axes. And the second one is hypoid gear and third one is spiral gear. So these are all the gears where the axes of the gears are not intersect with each other and the axes of the gears are not parallel to each other. But in these cases, whether in the spur gear or in the bevel gear, we can't see the shafts are non-parallel and axes are not intersecting. And according to the pattern of motion, we may have two types. Rotation to rotation. See here, the rotation of a shaft is converted into rotation of the another shaft. So here we are transmitting the rotation. But here you can see the rack and pinion combination. The rack and pinion combination, the rotation of the pinion is converted into linear motion of the rack. So in this way, if you transmit rotation to translation, it is also a different motion. And then how to specify the gear? In order to specify a particular gear, we need these 5 important parameters. Number one is type. Just we saw many types of the gear. So under which type the gear is lying, that's you need to specify first. And then material of manufacturing. Under which material the gear is manufactured, whether it is cast iron or mild steel or brass or something else. And size or dimension, the diameter and other related dimensions. The geometry, the addendum value, dedendum value, pitch value, these are all the things are nothing but the geometrical details. And the special features. So what are all the exclusive features of the gear? So by using these parameters, we need to specify the gears. And now come to the point, how the gears are manufactured. So these are all the various methods followed in the workshops to manufacture the gears. So casting, rolling, powder metallurgy, blanking in press tool, plastic molding, extrusion, wire cut EDM, machining. These are all the various possible methods followed for manufacturing the gears. So it's nothing but the gear rolling. This diagram is nothing but gear rolling. So by using the two identical rollers, the gear blank is pressed and continuously rolled to prepare the gear shafts. And this is nothing but gear manufactured to wire cut EDM process. So in this way we can prepare the gears. In our context, that is in our subject, we are going to concentrate more on gear machining. So the gear machining further can be classified into 4 different categories: gear milling, gear generation, gear shaping and gear hobbing. These 4 methods are the important methods coming under the category gear machining. One by one we can see. The first one is gear milling. In the milling machines, we can perform this gear milling operation. So a big gear blank is cut by a circular gear cutter, which is continuously rotates with moderate speed, and the gear blank is fed against the gear cutter. So the teeth of the entire gear will develop one by one. So in this way we can develop the gear in the gear milling operation. It is actually a rotating cutter. It is actually a end mill gear cutter. In both we can prepare the gears, but just see the shape of the cutter and axis of rotation of the cutter. Here the axis of rotation of the cutter is horizontal. There the axis of rotation of the cutter is vertical. So it is an end mill gear cutter used to mill the gears in our milling machine. And this diagram shows you the form milling of a helical gear. So the helical gears can be machined by using this kind of circular gear cutter in the helix angle. So after machining a single teeth, you need to rotate the gear blank by using the indexing mechanisms. And this is also a photographic view of a gear milling operation. See, this is actually the gear cutter, and this is what the gear which is produced by using the milling operation. And the next one is gear generation process by Sunderland method. So this method again called as rack type cutter method. See here, a rack type cutter is used for generating the gear teeth on a gear blank. So the gear blank is pressed against this rack cutter, and the rack cutter is continuously reciprocates and the gear blank is continuously rotates. In that way, the gear teeth will be developed in the outer surface of the gear blank. This method is called as gear generation method, particularly by Sunderland method. And gear shaping is nothing but just like our shaper machine, teeth by teeth we can develop the gear. See, it is a single point cutting tool gear shaping. In the shaper machine also we can do it. So a single point cutting tool is continuously reciprocates over the gear blank, and tooth are cut one by one in the gear blank. And the same time we can go for some multi-point gear cutter also. This is called as rotary gear shaper cutter, and this will reciprocates in up and down direction, and the gear blank will slowly rotates to get cut. So this is nothing but the workpiece spindle. In that we are fixing our gear blank, and feed is given in this direction, and the rotary gear shaper cutter will reciprocates in up and down direction. Continuously coolant liquid will be supplied here based on the type of material, and the gear blank is made to rotate slowly. See, this is the actual structure of the gear shaping machine. See here, this is our cutter tool, and this is the cutter spindle. It is connected with the electric motor to reciprocate and rotate. See here, this is our workpiece fitted with the table, and everything are connected through various mechanisms in order to prepare the gears. It is actually the photographic view of the gear shaping operation. This is actually the gear to be produced, and this is your gear shaping cutter tool. So this will reciprocates in up and down direction against the slowly rotating gear blank. It's again a view of the gear shaping. See here, this is our gear blank, it is our gear cutter, reciprocates in this direction. In this way we can prepare external gears and internal gears also by using this kind of cutter. And gear hobbing, a famous method used in all the workshops in order to prepare some thick gears. See here, this is nothing but the hobbing tool or gear hob, which is used to produce the gear teeth over the gear blank. This is our gear blank. So continuously these gear cutter and gear blank are rotates in a synchronized motion. So their rotation will be continuously develop the gear tooth on the outer surface of the workpiece. So in this way we can prepare the gear. These are all the various diagrams illustrating how the gear teeth is formed by using the hobbing tool. So the rotation of the tool and the workpiece are relative. At the same time, the tooth will be developed by pressing the tool against the gear blank and rotation. Next, we are going to see about the gear finishing operations. First of all, why gear finishing is required? Actually, the gears are need to be accurate in dimension and form, and they should have high surface finish, and they should be very hard and wear resistive at their tooth flanks. Then only we can expect the smooth running of the machineries and very good performance and a long service life. So in order to achieve these three benefits from the gears should be like that. They should be very accurate, highly surface finish, high hard and wear resistive. In order to achieve these primary properties and traits on the gear, not manufacturing alone will help us. After manufacturing, we have to finish the gears in order to get or in order to assure the presence of these excellent qualities in the gear. So bringing these qualities into the gear after manufacturing is nothing but gear finishing operation. And what are all the various methods of gear finishing are just listed out. For soft and unhardened gears, that is the gears manufactured with aluminum alloy, brass, bronze and cast iron, we can go for gear shaving process and gear rolling process. The gear rolling some way called as gear burnishing. And for the hard and hardened gears, we can go for gear grinding and gear lapping processes to finish the gear surface after manufacturing. For the very soft and precision gears, we can go for again gear shaving followed by surface hardening and lapping. So these are all the various methods of gear finishing exclusively for some based on the type of material of the gear. For the soft and unhardened gears, you need to follow gear shaving and gear rolling. For the hard gears, you need to follow grinding or lapping in order to finish the gear. One by one we can see that. First of all, gear shaving. Gear shaving is nothing but the process of repairing the surface imperfections and surface burrs or surface asperities in the gears just after the manufacturing. See, the manufacturing process of the gear not producing the highly surface finished gears. Since the manufacturing having some errors or some macro level settlement only followed in the manufacturing, so we can't expect micro level finishing in the surface of the gears. In order to repair the surface imperfections in the manufactured gears, we can go for gear shaving process. In the gear shaving process, a specific tool is used. This is nothing but a gear shaving cutter. Gear shaving cutter. See, this is the gear shaving cutter as for spur gears, and this is the gear shaving cutter for rack, and this is the gear shaving cutter for worm type. So for each and every type of gears, we are having separate category of gear shaving tool. By using that gear shaving tool, we can repair the surface. What actually happened during the process is the manufactured gear is settled with a rotating arbor and rotates with very high speed. During that high speed, the particular gear shave cutter is made to mesh with the gear, manufactured gear. Along with the manufactured gear, the cutter also will rotate since they are engaged through the teeth. So during that time, the hard asperities of the gear shaver cutter will repair the surface of the gears. So in this way, we can repair the surface imperfections of the manufactured gear by using the gear shaving process and the gear burnishing process. And particularly this gear shaving process is very much apt for the soft and unhardened gears. And gear rolling and burnishing is also very suitable for soft material gears. So what in this method we are doing is the manufactured gear is fixed with a vertical rotating arbor, and around that we are having three different roller gears. These roller gears teeth are engaged with the teeth of our manufactured gear. So during the process, they are made to rotate along with the manufactured gear in both directions, both in clockwise direction and in counterclockwise direction. And in order to remove the small burrs and small imperfections or projections in the surface of the manufactured gear. Since the material of the roller gears are very hard when compared to the actual gear, some minimum plastic deformation is happened in the surface of our manufactured gear, which are all considered as the imperfections on the gear teeth. So in this way, the imperfections can be easily plastically deformed by using the hard roller gears during the gear burnishing or gear rolling process. And gear grinding. Gear grinding is preferred for hard material gears. So during this process, a grinding wheel which is the replica of the gear teeth is used to grind the surface of the gear teeth. So in this way we can make the gear teeth surface as more polished, and we can repair some small imperfections, and we may expect micro level excellent surface finish on the gear's land area. So this is nothing but gear grinding. This can be done with the help of a single wheel or multiple wheel gear grinder. And gear lapping process is again used for some hard material gears. During this process, initially the gear which is produced is sprayed by the abrasive paste. The abrasive micro abrasive particles along with a carrying paste are sprayed in the surface of the gear, and that gear is made to engage with another lapping gear, and during the engagement and rotation, the small imperfections present on the surface of the manufactured gear are repaired by the abrasive particles by pressing them through the lapping gear. So this is nothing but the photographic view. This is our lapping gear and this is our actual manufactured gear. The yellow color paste like structure is nothing but the abrasive powder mixed with the carrying paste. So it is sprayed previously, and then during the engagement rotation, the surface imperfections of the gear are repaired during this lapping process. So in this way we can finish the gear by using gear lapping. So in the next class we will discuss about some other topic. Thanks for listening.